For many times there were a lot of debates about keeping the PS4, PS4 Slim or PS4 Pro horizontally or vertically. Some say vertically it looks better or it performs better, while others say the opposite. The PS4, no matter the model, should always stay horizontally. While Sony since PlayStation 2 advertised their consoles mostly vertically, they never included a vertical stand inside the box, and most of the people ignored this feature and very few got one. And most of those who did, they did it mostly for aesthetics reasons rather than any other. I got 3 different vertical stands, and in this video I'll talk about everything related to this. Before mounting any vertical stand on any of these PS4 models, we notice all these consoles can stay vertically without any kind of physical support. So why would we need one? Accepting the fact any kind of vertical stand should give a bit more support on the surface, there's a mix between aesthetics and functionality. Firstly is how the cooling system was designed. On all 3 PS4 models, the cooler fan is situated here. It pulls the air from this side and pushes the air outside at the back of the console through the power supply. So this way it cools the CPU, GPU and also the PSU. That's why even if we keep the console horizontally, it's strongly recommended to not keep it very near a furniture wall, because that space is required to let the air pass inside. If we put the console vertically, with this side on the table without using anything, there's not enough room to pull enough air. Depending on the model, there's this slot, and on PS4 Pro there are 2 slots. That helps a bit, but definitely not enough for a proper cooling. One way to solve the cooling problem is to turn it upside down, and by having the cooler fan at the top of the console, there's plenty of room to pull enough air from above and push it outside at the back, and voila, problem solved. But this way the PlayStation logo is upside down, so without having a stand, it's definitely better to keep it this way. But if aesthetics matters, then we wouldn't want to have it that way. By using a vertical stand, we can mount the console vertically without having the logo upside down. And the main purpose of the stand would be to keep it stable and raise the console a bit, just to make sure there is enough room to pull enough air for a proper airflow. For the standard PS4, I have this vertical stand released by Sony. It's pretty basic, nothing fancy, and once we put the PS4 on the stand, we have these 2 wheels as a locking system to make sure the console sticks to the stand. No screw, nothing else. Just these 2 switches. Once on its vertical stand, I don't see enough room for a good airflow, and as far as I can see, here are these tiny slots. I suppose they're for letting the air inside the stand, but I really doubt this is enough for a AAA game playing for hours. Having the console with such poor ventilation, I think this stand only gives some support and it's supposed to make it more sturdy, but doesn't seem so. The standard PS4 is already thick enough and the vertical stand doesn't seem to add a much larger surface. So I don't think this makes it really more stable. I think it's gonna work and it may look pretty nice, but even though this is released by Sony for a Sony product, I'm pretty sure the cooling process is pretty much affected in long run. For the PS4 Slim, I have this stand which looks dedicated for the gamer. It's actually a docking station, and my PS4 Slim feels solid. I can charge 2 of my controllers and I can also help the cooling process by turning on these 2 fans. Now I'm ready to play the last AAA titles for hours, am I? Well, there's a trap. Despite the fact this looks like a real thing, it's not actually what's supposed to be. Putting my PS4 Slim on this stand, it blocks the slot for the airflow and doesn't raise the console at all. Instead of being placed directly on the table, it's placed directly on this plastic thing. But I get no room for airflow, and it also stops the air coming through the slot. But I have this USB cable. Once plugged in, I turn on the cooling fans and that's it. Well, these two fans are crap. They don't help at all, and they just add a lot of noise. This is definitely not enough for a proper cooling and would be far better to turn it upside down than keeping it on this dock. So accepting the fact it looks cool, I definitely don't recommend this at all, and actually recommend it to keep it any other way than using such vertical stands. Similar docking stations were also made for PS4 Pro, but I'd never used such thing. For PS4 Pro, I got this vertical stand, which also works on PS4 Slim. The base plate is pretty basic, it's supposed to make the console a bit more sturdy. Here are these mounting plates, one is for the Slim version and one is for Pro. The mounting system is different on Pro model comparing with the Slim model. I have the Pro here, so I'll be using this one. And there's one single screw for keeping everything in one place. Now for fastening the screw, I'm using a quarter, but any other coin should do the job. A flat screwdriver may also be useful. The coin was just much easier to find at the moment. Here it is, the PS4 Pro standing vertically. Now the PS4 is raised enough for a proper cooling, the logo is as it should, and everything seems to be just fine. It's quite sturdy and it looks great. One other thing to mention is that, at least in theory, this should result in a better cooling just because the whole console is raised and the air can cool all its sides. If the console lays horizontally, the bottom is on the ground and it may be hotter. However, I wouldn't bet it's significantly cooler staying vertically. Pretty much that's it. If you mind to have your PS4 standing vertically, I definitely recommend a vertical stand. I don't really recommend the stands coming with cooling fans because they only add more noise and nothing else. But something to raise it a bit and making it a bit more stable on the ground would be better. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.